Hey there Kipsters, Mr. Piazza here, and we are looking at objective 3C.4. That's solving equations with square roots. This is going to be really important for the next video, which is going to involve solving equations to use the Pythagorean theorem. So first, I want to make sure we're clear on a pattern about two different operations, which is square and square roots. So find the square or square root of each number. I want you to stop the video here. Please find the squares of all these numbers, the square roots of all these numbers, and see if you can answer this sentence by yourself before I share the answers. Again, stop the video here. Press play when you're ready to check all of these. Okay, so you've tried these for this investigation. 2 squared is the same as 4, because that's 2 times 2. 3 squared is the same as 9, because that's 3 times 3. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. And the square root of these perfect squares, the square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, square root of 16 is 4, square root of 25 is 5, and square root of 36 is 6. The key here is the opposite, or inverse, of squaring a number is finding its square root. And so whenever we see an equation that has something like x squared, the way we're going to solve it is by using the inverse operation, finding the square root. So that's going to help us solve pretty simple and then more complicated equations. Starting with A. If x squared equals 16, what does x equal? So if x squared equals 16, I'm trying to figure out what x would equal. Since I see x squared, I need to do the opposite, which is to find the square root. If I do that, the square root of x squared is just x, and the square root of 16 is 4. That should make sense, because 4 squared equals 16. Stop the video here and try B yourself. Press play when you're ready to check the answer. Okay, you've tried x squared equals 49. To solve it, since you see x squared, you need to use the inverse operation, which is the square root, and x equals the square root of 49, which is 7. Should make sense because 7 squared equals 49. We've solved 2 equations using this pattern. Now, I'm going to complete C and E, and then I'm going to ask you to complete D and F as guided practice. To solve these more complicated equations, I do see x squared just like I saw before, but I also see an expression that I can simplify. I see 3 squared plus 4 squared. So the first step here is going to be to simplify what I know. 3 squared means 3 times 3, that's 9. 4 squared means 4 times 4, that's 16, equals x squared. Before I find the square root, I'm going to completely simplify 9 plus 16, which is 25. And so x squared equals 25. I'm not done because just like here and just like here, if x squared equals something, to completely solve, I need to find the square root. And so x equals the square root of 25, which is 5. Slightly different problem is E, because you can see that unlike C, where x is by itself, here I see x on the same side as another term that I'm going to have to cancel. So the steps are similar. I'm still going to simplify what I know. 10 squared is 100 equals x squared plus 8 squared, that is 64. But before I find the square root, I need to get the x squared by itself. And so the way I'm going to do that is by adding the opposite of that constant, which is negative 64. Negative 64. And I have 36 on the left side equals x squared, because my constant canceled out. And so I have 36 equals x squared. To solve, again, I need to find the square root, and x equals the square root of 36, which is 6. And that's my solution. At this point, it's time for guided practice. I'd like you to stop the video here, try D and F. Press play when you're ready to check the answer. Okay, you've tried D, so now it's time to check. X squared equals 5 squared plus 12 squared, that's 25 plus 144. Add those together, and that means x squared equals 169. Find the square root, and that means x equals 13. Check yourself if that's what you had. Next, F, 13 squared equals 5 squared plus x squared. You simplify what you know. 13 squared is 169, equals 5 squared, that's 25, plus x squared. Add the opposite of the constant, which is adding negative 25. When you do, your constants cancel, and 169 minus 25 is 144 equals x squared. Find the square root, and x was equal to 12. Give yourself a check if you had that answer. At this point, you've had some guided practice around solving equations that you're going to use in the next video for the Pythagorean theorem. Now it's time for independent practice. Please complete these 5 equations. If you do well in these, you should be ready to take objective assessment 3C.4. Good luck.